Good evening, everybody. I am just getting us up and running. Thank you so much for joining us. Let's get things going. Okay, lighting looks good. And we're on. Okay, so we have quite a few people joining us tonight from different places. Good evening, good evening. I'll introduce myself a little bit more as we go, but for now, I am Dr. Greg Venning, and I'm your host for tonight on the neck and back pain webinar. We're going to give you some really simple, easy solutions, mainly one big, simple, easy solution. I'll give you a few more, but one big one that is going to help you to fix any sitting position in any workstation, even in the car, and it's going to help you to melt tension and relieve pain. And what I'd like you to do to get started is realize that I am here at my computer and I'm talking to a screen. And I know that there's other people on the other side of the screen. So would you mind, please, popping down in the comments below, in the comment section, would you mind putting down where you are, where you're from, where you're watching and listening to us from, just so I can know who's out there, so I can see who's with us tonight. That would be lovely. Thank you very, very much. Okay. Now, as you guys are doing that, popping those in the comments, we see quite a few comments coming through already in the chat box. That's beautiful. Lots of people coming from Cape Town, people from France. That's gorgeous. We're getting quite a lot of variation in where people are from and listening to us to and watching us from. Okay, great. The northern suburbs of Cape Town, very far from where I am in the southern suburbs. Okay, great. So we are going to be dealing with neck and back pain tonight, specifically neck and back pain that's coming from having to work at home a lot. With the changes that happened in society recently, most companies are doing work from home. Some companies are doing a remote first. But any way that these things are happening, even if you're not really working very much in formal work, but if you're just spending more time at home on the computer, on your devices, you'll have noticed that your body's not feeling as good. You'll have noticed that you're not sitting ideally, especially if we're working on a laptop or an iPad or a phone, a smartphone of some sort. Your body's being dragged forward, and we're going to cover quite a few key points in that tonight. And so I'd like to get started. Yeah, let's get ourselves moving. So in the last few weeks, in the last few months, even in the years before that, you might have found that your posture was sometimes less than perfect. And you might have found that driven out of necessity. You might have been working from home and had kids to look after. You might have been working from home and just not had a good place to sit and work. You might have tried your absolute best to get this to work, put books up on screens and try and sit up on chairs. You might have even been able to go back to your office and get your chair and take it to the house. Some people have managed to do that, and still things don't seem to be as good. And still you find you might have neck tension or upper back tension or mid or lower back tension or pain, sometimes even pinched nerves coming through with headaches and pain down the leg coming through. You might have found this happening through time in the last few months. And I know that you've probably tried a lot to fix it. You've really paid attention to it. You might not have done everything you could have, but I know that you've tried to do something to make this better. And you've been living with us, and you're with us tonight because you want to find a solution. You're still seeking a solution, and you're still a seeker looking for better health and well-being and to feel better and function better. And I want to help you with that tonight. I want to make sure that we give you great tools tonight to be able to do that. So in the chat section below, would your life, would your existence feel better if you had less back pain or neck pain? Can you just pop that in the comments below? Would your life, would your existence, would your ability to function through the day be better if you had less neck pain or back pain? We're getting some yeses, some absolutelys coming through. And just pop that there so I know I'm talking to the right people, so I know that I'm engaged with you tonight on something that you want to be engaged on. Yeah, most definitely. So, okay, great. So we're talking to the right people. Please, please, please make sure that you're interacting as we go through this, so that you're engaged, you're with me, and also so that I know that I'm hitting the chords that you want me to hit tonight. There's this concept of the cone of learning, and the cone of learning has at the bottom, the least amount of learning happens when we just sit passively and listen or watch something. That's the least amount of learning. About 2 weeks after tonight, if you just do that, you'll maybe remember 10% of what I've said. Now, up higher in the learning is some kind of participation, just answering yes or no, but not just doing it in your own head for yourself, but actually putting it out there means that you get to 40 or 50% of learning. if you're actively thinking of questions you want to ask, and I'm inviting you to do this, and you actively want to ask a specific question, then you're coming towards the top of the cone of learning, and then you're going to be having 60 or 70% retention 2 weeks from now. Now, nobody's going to test you on this, but what's going to happen is you can use tonight to make your life different in some way, to make your life better in some way, to make tomorrow different from today. And if that's what you're with us for tonight, please, 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 when I ask, please interact with us and put forward questions and give me yeses or nos or whatever is appropriate at that time. Okay. So this is where you might have been living life, something around this, maybe not as extreme as this, or maybe even worse than this. Like we've had to deal with all sorts of stuff. We've had to really test our adaptability in the last few months. And the result is often feelings of discomfort, feelings of pain. It might just be tightness, or you might actually be feeling really, really sore. It might just be niggling in the background and dull, or it might be really, really sharp and affecting you. But either way, it's limiting you. It's not allowing you to feel freedom in your mind and body. It might be playing with your concentration. It might be limiting how you move if you want to be with your kids, or maybe you want to go and move and exercise and you're feeling limited when you do that. Maybe it's about how you're trying to focus and you can't get the focus you want because this thing is gnawing at you in the background. Maybe you're even a little bit worried about what this means and how long it's going to last and what's going on under the surface. And if this is something severe, or is this something you should take a pill for? Is this something you need a massage for? Is this something you need to see somebody else for? And if those questions are going around in your mind, then we're going to be helping you tonight a huge amount so you get some clarity on that. And as we go through this, you're going to find it easy to have my voice go with you, to be able to focus on the images, to focus on your learning, to bring some questions through so that other distractions will fade away and you'll be able to really glean what you want from tonight as we go through. Now, this might be where you want to be. You might want to be in balance. You might want to be in freedom. You might want to be able to trust your body more. You might want to be able to live more comfortably with your body, feel a bit more optimistic about how you're aging and how this time is affecting your body and how your body's going to handle things going ahead, and maybe even worrying a bit about your mental and emotional state. And know that those two are linked. Those two are intimately linked. And everything that we give you for a solution for your physiology, your body, is going to help you with solutions for your psychology, your mind as well tonight. And this is where we can get to. We can get to a place of balance, a place of trust, a place of optimism in our mind and body, a place of freedom in our mind and body where we can express ourselves physically. We can be the people we want to be more. We can be limited less. But very often, this is the reality that we live with. We live with aches, pains, tightness, injuries. We live with limitations in our physical body, and most of them related to the spine, especially with what we're talking about tonight. And that often leads us to the other side of this page where we're hooked on drugs. Yeah, you're maybe not a drug addict, but certainly you need them more often than you want to. We all know that our life is better, our life is healthier lived when there's fewer of these medications in our body. We know that there's these co-effects. I don't like using the term side effect because that minimizes them. We get effects and co-effects with any chemical we put into our body. And whether it's a painkiller, whether it's an anti-inflammatory, whether it's a muscle relaxant, whether it's just something mild, whether it's something more, where it's got an opioid in it, a codeine or tramadol, these are really severe medications. Muscle relaxants are really, really severe. Whether sometimes it's people are on antipsychotics or antidepressants to try and cope with the neurological, the brain and nerve part of pain. These are really severe medications to be on, and we all know that our life is better lived with fewer of these medications. We are safer, healthier, and happier when we take fewer medications in our life. And it's one of my life's purposes to help people to safely come off and be less dependent on and use less of these medications so they can live a fuller life. We do not want to be hooked and bound by them. Now, is there an appropriate time and place to maybe use them? Absolutely. Nobody is wrong for using them when you absolutely need them. And you know as well as I do that you want to use less of them. And that's why you're one of the reasons why you're with us tonight, because you don't want to be living this life where you're dependent on them. So who am I? Who am I to be talking to you tonight? So my name is Greg Venning. This is my gorgeous family. My wife, Ailey, who's on the call with us tonight, manning things in the background, helping me with the tech support. My two daughters, the eldest one is Bria, youngest one there is Imogen. And we all live the life that I'm about to tell you. Everything that we talk about tonight, every little piece of advice that I give you tonight, we live this, we use this in our daily lives. I practice with 4 other doctors in the practice. We all use this in our daily lives. We all teach this to all of the people that we see in our practice, the gorgeous people that we get to serve. My wife is Scottish, and part of that story is that I graduated university here in South Africa with a master's degree for chiropractic. I worked with high-level sports teams. I worked in corporate well-being. I've worked at some of the highest levels. I went overseas. I've done something a lot of chiropractors here haven't been able to do, is to get training and further experience over in the UK and Europe and the US, and then bring that all back. And now I'm an instructor. I teach other healthcare professionals how to help people through pain, how to help people to get to the underlying problems and not just the surface layer problems. And I've practiced for a decade and a half across 2 continents in 3 countries. And I've got some beautiful tools that I can give to you that I usually only get to give to my practice members, the people that we serve every day who come to us in the practice in Cape Town. And I'm here to give some of those gems to you now. And I'm so glad that you've joined us so I can share some of that with you. I've also written a book. I've literally written a book on health and well-being from the inside out that's called Thrive. And you can see it on the shelf there in Exclusive Books. That is my book. And it's been stocked there since it was first published in 2016. So I'm blessed to be able to have done that and put out a message of well-being. So I've got a lot to be able to share with you as we go through tonight. And that's one of my favorite picks. When I was excited to have my book launched and put in a bookshop, which is an amazing feeling, by the way, I was second in line. The most excited person was my daughter. And every bookshop we ever went past, she had to go and find it. And so we have a lot of those photos. Okay. So my question to you is, are you using meds? I mean, you know that the pain that you might be feeling is not because you're not taking enough meds. You know that your pain is not being caused by a lack of medication. You know that a headache that someone has is not caused by a lack of paracetamol, is not caused by a lack of diclofenac, is not caused by a lack of tramadol, is not caused by a lack of medication. You know that these meds might be useful in short terms, but we don't want to end up in this picture. We do not want to end up where we are dependent on it. Now, whether that's one every week or so, whether it's one a day, or whether it's more than that, you do not want to be dependent on these things. You want to come off, and you can come off. And working with us, you will come off and be able to minimize meds that we're on as we go through. And the solutions I'm going to give you tonight are going to be a big step forward in that. So let's find out how we got here. As you're sitting there, or if you're in a standing workstation, as you're standing there, as you're listening and watching this, here's a story of your life and of my life and of lots of people's lives. And this is going to lead us to where we are now. And then I'm going to help you to find ways of moving forward in the future so tomorrow can be different from today. So when we first came into life, on the far left of the screen, we came into life with a high level of health potential. Babies, apart from being born with congenital defects and the like, babies are born with really huge amounts of health potential in their lives. And from birth onwards, there's 2 things that will affect us, that will decide how well we can express that health potential, how well we can express this potential through our mind and body. Now, the first thing that affects us are these lifestyle stresses that bring us down. These lifestyle stresses are things that can accumulate on us slowly over time without us even knowing, that can bring our level of health down over time. Now, while you're sitting there at home, while you're standing there wherever you are, what can you think of that you would think of as a lifestyle stress, as something that's broken your health down a little over time? If you can think of something, pop it in the chat box below. Anything that you think might have brought your health down, please pop it in the chat section. Anything that you think might have broken your body down, even just a little bit, or affected your mental state and brought it down just a little bit. What are some examples of lifestyle stresses that you've experienced in your life that you think would have brought your health or life down over time? Think of something, think of anything, something small, something big, something recent, something from far in the past, and pop something in the chat box below. So we've got a few answers coming through, and you know, oftentimes these are things that you might not even reconcile with what's happening now. Maybe it could be the fact that you fell off your bicycle a few times when you were learning to ride as a child. Maybe it'll be that you did some rollerblading or skateboarding. Maybe you fell out a tree, or for jungle gym. Maybe it was some sports bumps and accidents. Maybe it's been sitting at in a desk for long hours from primary school all the way through to now in your life. Maybe you had a big car accident. Maybe you had a small car accident. Maybe you haven't been moving enough. Maybe you've been moving too much. These are all things that can bring our level of health down over time. Maybe you've had some slips onto your head or fallen upstairs or downstairs. There's lack of movement. There's too much movement. Those are all physical stresses. There can be your mental and emotional stresses. An example we have here is expectations. Yes, expectations that we have mentally and emotionally can be stresses for us, especially if those expectations aren't met, if they're unrealistic. We can have family, we can have relationships, we can have finances, you can have the tests and the relationship issues you might have had from school, or what's happening now with work and family and finances. We can have what we're eating. Absolutely, eating habits can be part of that. You know that having a cheeseburger now is, if you have the bun and all the cheese and all the garnish on it, you know that's not the best thing for you right now. You know that a donut is not going to be the greatest thing for you. And these eating stresses, these chemical stresses can pile on over time. So out of all of those, we get some simplicity, because I mean, that's a load of different things. So imagine this. We have physical stresses. We have 3 forms of lifestyle stresses. Number 1 is physical stresses. Falls, accidents, injuries, sitting for a long time. We're going to talk more about sitting in a while. Big things and small things. So that's physical. Then the second one that we mentioned was mental and emotional. Work, family, finances, relationships, all the way back from childhood through to now. And then the last one we mentioned was chemical stresses. That's what we put in our body, what we put on our body. It's literally what we breathe. These are all chemicals that can be stresses and bring us down. But here's the good news, because I know that sounds really doom and gloom, but here's the good news. The good news is that one cheeseburger, one fight with your family, one fall, accident or injury is not going to kill you. And it's not going to kill you because you have innate resistance. Your mind-body has the ability to heal and repair. Your mind-body is self-developing and self-regulating. You have this resistance that will bring you back up again, that will help you to heal, help you to feel better. So if these breakdown forces, these stresses, match these build-up forces, this resistance, we'll maintain a high level of health expression over time. Our life will be lived right up the top of that screen. But what happens in society for all of us, especially in modern society, in industrialized society, is these lifestyle stresses slowly but surely tend to accumulate over time. And I'm sure you can notice this in your life. And these lifestyle stresses accumulate and they overpower our resistance. So we end up on a slow, gradual process of breakdown over time. But we don't notice it because everybody around us seems to be doing the same thing as well. Until we end up with normal back pain, normal headaches, normal period pain, normal mental and emotional stress. Now, none of these are normal. They're average, but we live with them as normal. So what we do is we bear with it because we think it's normal until we cross through this line. And when you cross through this line, when you go down through the path and then you start experiencing symptoms that you can't put up with, that's more than you want to bear. That's where you start looking for help. So you get down to the middle of the graph, down below the dotted line. And what you find now is that you go and look for some help. Yeah, things have got to a point where you've suffered enough and you would love some help. So you go and see a healthcare provider of your choice, a GP, a homeopath, a naturopath, a chiropractor, an osteopath, a physiotherapist, whoever you go and see. And what you're seeking is relief. That's what you're seeking at that point. You're seeking relief. And you go to someone, they manage to help you, and they get you above the line here again. A classic example of this is if you have a headache and you go to your GP for a headache. What is your GP likely to do to give you for a headache? Yeah, a little white pill. So imagine you get a Panado, a paracetamol, Panado here in South Africa, Panadol in the UK and Europe. You get your paracetamol. Now, you take paracetamol and your headache goes away. So you've gone from below the line to above the line. Now you're above the line, you don't feel the headache anymore. Here's my question to you. Sitting where you are now, think about this. Was your headache ever caused by a lack of paracetamol? Was your headache ever caused by a lack of paracetamol? And the answer is obviously no. The lack of paracetamol did not cause my headache. So what the paracetamol's done, what that drug has done, what that painkiller has done is numb your mind or body to the pain that is still present there, the problem that is still present there, because the problem was caused by this imbalance between stresses and resistance and the breakdown it's affected and caused in your body. And what we've done there is we've numbed our mind body to it. No, Again, I'm not saying you're wrong for ever doing that. There's times and places where that's necessary and appropriate. Where it starts to cause some damage, though, is where we don't get to the underlying problem. We don't start to address it because we feel better now, we're above the line, but then 2 days, 2 weeks, 2 months, 2 years, we drop down below that line again. And without us having known it, because we just numbed our minds and body, there's been more damage that's happened. Now, instead of 1 panada, we need 2. We get back above the line again. Then we drop down again 2 days, 2 weeks, 2 months, 2 years. And now it might not be the same pain, but something similar or different might have come back because this damage has got worse. Your body's trying to adapt for you. Your body's starting to get twisted up and distorted. And now, man, you need some stronger painkillers now. Now you're needing something like super strength. You're going with something with some codeine in it, something with some opioid in it. And it gets worse and worse, and anti-inflammatories are finding their way in, and you're throwing more and more drugs at this issue. Now, you might have even been going for physio and just short term, then you feel better, then short term, then you feel better. Maybe not doing exercise in between. Maybe being to go into your chiro for 1 or 2 visits and then not going in between. If we're just going for short-term relief and we're not getting to the underlying problem, and I'm going to show you tonight what that might be, then what's happening is our health is getting worse under the surface while we're numbing our mind and body, while we're not dealing with the underlying problem. Now, this is the model that we follow nowadays that we call healthcare. It is not healthcare at all. It is sick care. It is a sick care system that can be appropriate in certain places at certain times. But if we're trying to create health by using the sick care system, it's a train wreck. It does not work. It makes the problem worse. The stats on that are irrefutable. So, what do we do about it? Well, one thing is we start realizing that the puddle on the floor is not the leak in the roof. The puddle on the floor is not the leak in the roof. Now, what do I mean by that? Imagine you woke up one morning, you go into your kitchen, and there's a puddle on the floor. Now, you know that's not a good thing. You know that having a puddle on the floor where there's nothing on your counter that's spilt is not a good thing, because you look up, and from the puddle, you look up, and you see in the ceiling, there's a big mark. Maybe there's even a hole. And there's water dripping down from the hole in the roof to the puddle on the floor. Now, that leak through the ceiling is not even the problem. That's one step up, because the puddle's not the problem. Problem is a pain for you. You want to solve this. This is something annoying. We want to get this taken care of ASAP. But we look up and we see a deeper problem. The deeper problem is that ceiling, that hole in the ceiling. But that's not even the real problem. The real problem is the hole in the roof that you can't even see from here in the kitchen. That's probably been there for months, even years, and it's been developing slowly, and you haven't been able to see it. So you could simply mop up the puddle and ignore the hole in the ceiling and the problem in the roof. And that's what we do when we just go for short-term relief care. Now, that's appropriate. If I'm in a rush, man, I can deal with it later, mop up the puddle, put a bucket on the floor and go. But if I do that over and over, day in and day out, week in and week out, month in and month out, year in and year out, that deeper problem getting with that hole in the ceiling is going to get worse. That leak in the roof is going to start rotting my roof struts. And now I've got a structural problem in my house. Now it's even worse. If I dealt with it in the very beginning, it would have been an easier fix. But if I've delayed it and delayed it and delayed it by just mopping up the puddle, numbing my mind and body, not dealing with the underlying issue, it just gets worse and worse and worse. So let's talk about structure. What I'm going to do is I am going to move across. We're going to move from that presentation. And now I'm going to show you some of my gorgeous art. My wife's probably laughing because my artwork is never gorgeous. But what we're going to do is I'm going to draw these things out for you, because this works much better when we're developing this together and we're getting these ideas together. So now you can see my screen. Okay. So what we're going to do is we're going to figure out what happens with our body. All right, so imagine that's your skull, and imagine, which way am I going to go? Imagine that's your neck. Let's do this. My wife is rolling her eyes right now. So imagine we're looking that way. So your neck curves that way, your back curves that way, and your lumbar spine curves that way, and then you have your sacrum at the bottom. Okay. Now, we want a healthy body to be back and up. When these curves are gorgeous, there and then there and then there, a body will hold itself up. That's an important point. We'll deal with that more as we go. My wife's already passing comments on my drawing in the background here. Okay, so we want a body to be back and up, but I guarantee you right now, if you think of somebody youthful, somebody in great health, you think of their posture. What does their posture look like? It looks like it's up, doesn't it? If you look at somebody aging, somebody injured, somebody decrepit, somebody depressed, what does their posture look like? Which way does it go? Are they up and back, or are they down and forward? Is their body more like this? Has their body gone down and forward? Gravity seems to win over time. Gravity seems to pull us down. So what we have on this side is we have somebody in growth and repair. Growth and repair, if we let that go, growth and repair gives us vitality. Growth and repair gives us the life we want. Growth and repair gives us freedom in our mind and body. If our body is going forward, we get defense and decay. Defense and decay leads to dis-ease. Not ease, dis-ease. And dis-ease then leads to disease as a precursor for that. It makes us more susceptible to all sorts of problems in life. So we can either be back and up, or we can be down and forward. So the summary of this that I want you to get is forwards bad, backwards good. Forwards bad, backwards good. Now, something very interesting when we do this is when somebody has been going down and forward, say we're looking at them from the side, and instead of going nice and back and up, we see this kind of thing going on. Yeah, they are definitely going down and forward. Okay. Now, what's quite interesting is when I talk about puddle on the floor versus leak in the roof, and when I say it's structure, imagine they have some misalignment happening in their spine at this point. That is one of the reasons why that's dropping people forward. All right. You do not feel the original problem. You do not feel the structural problem. When the bones are misaligned, your body drops forward. Your muscles haven't even come into it yet. But here's the thing is, our body is not pain sensitive enough. Only 10% in the nerves of your body, 10% of the nerves in your body are devoted to pain. Only 10%. So 90% of this happens without us ever being aware. You and me. You and me. 90% of it happens without us being aware. But now what happens is, your mind body is intelligent. It doesn't want to just drop forward. So what it does is it lights up these muscles, all these muscles, to try and bring you back up and try and hold you there. But those muscles were never meant to hold you day after day after day, week after week after week, month after month after month. And here's how you know this is true. How many times have you been sitting in a chair and you either think to yourself or somebody tells you, sit up straight? And you put some effort into it and you sit up straight. You pull yourself back and up. And then how long does it take before you're slumping again? How long does it take before you've gone down and forward again? 2 minutes, 5 minutes, 10 minutes, 20 minutes max before you're slumping again. It's not because you're lazy. It's not because you're weak. It's not because your muscles are tight. It's not because those are all the effect. The cause is something has been misaligned that your body can't self-correct, and your muscles are working overtime to try and correct that. So let me clean this up a little bit and make that point nice and easy to see. If we have something happening here, a misalignment that your body can't self-correct, you will not feel the pain there. That is the leak in the roof. You might start to feel these muscles right at the base of your neck light up. Yeah, right up at the back here. That can often cause headaches. That can definitely cause neck pain. That can start causing pain down the arm. Now, you might get it down here in your lower back. You might get it right down the base here. You might even get it down the leg. But none of those are the site of pain. The site of the pain, none of those are the site of the problem. The site of the problem is here. Any one of those other things is the compensation. It's the intelligent compensation your body's being put into place. So if you go and have a massage and you try and reduce that tension, maybe there or maybe there, And maybe that goes away, maybe not that one. Then what happens is, if you're unlucky, 2 days, 2 weeks, 2 months, 2 years later, think your body resets that. Or if you're unlucky, it doesn't reset that, it resets something worse. And now your hip starts giving you trouble. Because that original problem, the actual leak in the roof is still there. It hasn't been identified for you. So the beauty of this is, if we can identify that problem, the head keeps going away. If we can identify that main problem, the body will take care of these. And the great thing is, if we identify that main problem, then what happens is your body begins holding you up again the way it should. Your body comes back and up. Posture is about how your body holds you up, not how you hold your body up. Remember that. I'm going to say it again. Posture is about how your body holds you up, not how you hold your body up. I know that's probably counter to almost anything you've heard about posture before, about stretching and strengthening muscles, and maybe even wearing those braces that you see advertised on social media a lot. All of that is an outside-in solution. The answer is inside out. Is the structure of your body is designed to hold you up. We are beautifully designed to be upright. Our environment is what's pushing us forward. Our environment is what's pushing us down and forward. And if we allow that to happen, our body molds to the environment it's put in. And remember, defense and decay. On this side, if we do things the way our body loves, the way our body wants, we get growth and repair. Defense and decay leads to disease. That's painful. That's a small life. That's a shorter life. Growth and repair, that's beautiful. That's a bigger life. That's more life in your years and more years in your life. Okay, so what I want to now give you is the basics for a good sitting position. So what I'm going to do is take those bad boys away, all of them, and I'm going to show you something you've never been taught, but every ergonomicist gets wrong. But if you understand this one thing tonight and you can apply it, you're going to do well. Now, in one of my emails to you, one of my confirmation emails, I did mention that if you had a hand towel with you, that would be incredibly useful. A hand towel, might even be a dish towel, might even help. Even if you don't have one of those, then a thin magazine would be useful to help you where you're sitting. And you can actually try what I'm going to show you in a second. Okay. I'm going to show you right now the most important part on any setup, on any chair that you'll ever use. The most important part is not the backrest. Not the backrest. That can be useful, but it's not the most important part. This is the most important part. The seat you sit on. So let's put some legs down there. Okay. Give us a straight line. Good. The most important thing that we're going to be paying attention to is this, the seat that you sit on. Okay. So watch what happens when we look at these different figures coming up. Then it's the seat that makes the difference. That's what you're looking at. Everybody, you're looking for the seat. Yes. Okay. That's the most important part. Okay. So here is something we see quite a lot of. Let me just get that in full view. Okay. Now, can you see when we talk about the seat, can you see what's happening here with the seat? If I say this is a negative angle, I mean it's sloping backwards. So the knees are higher than the hips. What happens here in the pelvis is that rounds your lower back. Your lower back doesn't have a nice gentle curve in it, the lumbar curve. Now it's flattened. It's even rounded the wrong way. This is the reason why your body drops forward. Now, remember I said the seat is the problem. So if we come now and we do that classic thing, let's find a color for this, and we put in a lumbar support. This might help a little bit. This might help a little bit to create a little bit of a lumbar curve and help that body stay up for a little bit of time, but you've all done it. You know what? 2 minutes, 20 minutes later, your body just slumps forward. You slump forward even though you've got the lumbar curve. Okay, because that's not the primary problem. We're not getting to the leak in the roof. The leak in the roof when it comes to this, when it comes to sitting, is the seat. The seat has tilted us backwards. Now, if we go even further and we get a neutral sitting position, that's better. Yes, we can look at the seat and we can say that that seat is definitely better in 90 degrees. It's not tilted backwards, it's neutral. That is better, but this is still not holding us up properly. That body is still not great. That body is still slumped. Maybe not as big as the last one, but that is still not holding itself up. You're still going to be uncomfortable in this place. You're still going to feel that tension. Pain is still going to be a thing for you. So, tilted down at the back, no good. Neutral, better, but still no good. So what is good? What is a good thing? What is a useful thing? This is what you're looking for. You're looking for this angle here on the seat. Remember, the most important part of the sitting position is the seat. You want this angle to slope down of the seat, so that what it does is it creates your hips higher than your knees. So all we've got here, which you can see in there, is something like a seat wedge. I'll zoom in on that for you. And what it's done is it's made the back of the seat, let's make this quite apparent, the back of the seat here is higher than the front of the seat. You can all see that. Now, a seat wedge is useful, but what you can use instead is that hand towel. You can use a magazine if you really, really have to. That's kind of scraping the barrel, but it can work. And what you do is you would have that hand towel and you would put it under your pointy butt bones. You'll know what I mean by pointy butt bones. If you're sitting, if you're standing, quickly feel your pointy butt bones. You know what I mean? Their real name is the ischial tuberosity, but pointy butt bones is a much better name. You put them under that and it's going to pop your body up. So if you're sitting at home now, and you have something like a hand towel or a kitchen towel, an easy grasp and around you, or you can quickly go and get one, go and do it quickly. Go and get something. If there's a magazine floating around, you can use that for this demonstration. I want you to do this live in your home right now. I'm not going to be there. I'm not going to see you. You're not going to look silly. You are going to feel a difference when you do it. I tell you what, my wife who's on this call went to one of our, while you're getting the seat, if you need to go and get the pillow, go get the pillow. I mean the towel. But my wife went to go and see the local organic shop yesterday, and she was chatting to them, and one of the people was telling them their neck was sore. So she said, well, you've got your office in the back. I bet you I can help you set up a better office chair. She literally, right there and then, they took her back to the back office. She looked at the chair. She said, have you got a hand towel? She rolled the hand towel, folded the hand towel up, so it's about that wide, and it goes on the chair. And the person sat down and went, oh my goodness, that's so different. So what you'll do, here's the way that you experiment with this, is without any solution on your chair, just your chair plainly as it is, even if you don't have the solution, I just want you to do this now. Take a deep breath in, deep breath out, and let your body slump. And I bet you one of two things going to happen. Either you're going to slump forward a little bit. Just going to renew my screen share. Either you're going to slump forward a little bit, or you're going to slump forward a lot. Breathe in, breathe out, let your body slump. And you're going to feel your body slump forward a little bit or a lot. Okay, now, if you've done this and you've got a hand towel, you've got a kitchen towel, you've got a magazine or something, I want you to put that under your pointy butt bones. I want you to fold it up so it's about 4 layers thick. Yeah, four layers thick, fold it up, double, then double again. Maybe even once more if you want to, but at least 4 layers thick. So fold it over double, then double again, wide so you can get it under pointy butt bones, and you're going to do that. And you're going to sit and you're going to go breathe in, breathe out, let your body slump. Do that now. Okay. In the chat box, tell me what you notice. Tell me what you notice. When you have nothing under your bum, you breathe in, you breathe out, and you let your body slump, what happens? And if you do something under your bum, under your pointy butt bones, and you breathe in and you breathe out, and you let your body slump, what happens? I told you this was going to be interactive. I want you to tell me what you've experienced. When you're sitting there, tell me what you experienced. Even if you didn't get to do the experiment, if you're just sitting there, breathe in, breathe out, let your body slump. And just tell me, how much does your body slump? Yes. So people say now they feel ease. It feels like that the body feels like it's softer. Yet somebody says that when they're slumping there, it's hard to breathe. And when they put the thing under, somebody's saying here that their spine lifts. That's exactly what happens. Your spine lifts. Suddenly, this lumbar curve, this beautiful curve that goes this way, is automatically created when you tilt your pelvis forward like that with the wedge. Your body holds you up. You don't hold your body up. Now you can use, this is a really simple trick. You can use this at home. You can use this in the car. You can use this if you ever go back to work. You can use this in a restaurant. I tend to walk around, even on a hot day here in Cape Town in the southern suburbs, on the hottest day in summer, which we haven't had yet, but on the hottest day in summer, I usually walk around with a tracksuit top. Because if I go out and sit down, if I go and have a cup of coffee or sit at a restaurant somewhere, I want to put that under my bum, under my pointy butt bones, because that creates that tilt for me. Wherever I go, it just feels so much better. It feels so rubbish to let your body slump when you know it doesn't have to. Your body wants to be backing up. Your body wants to be doing growth and repair. Your body wants to be giving you more life and vitality. Your body does not want forward slumping. Your body does not want rounded posture. Your body does not want defense and decay. Your body does not want dysfunction, disintegration, dis-ease. So I wonder if you can identify either of these, either before we started lockdown and work from home was forced on you, or maybe before that. Maybe you were doing that in the office. I wonder if you can see yourself in any of these. Now, when we look at setting up a good position, so I want to go, I'm going to highlight, first of all, that we've spoken about this, the seat wedge solution. Yes? So, point number one, if you're going to set up a good workstation, let's choose a color we can see. Step number one is the tilt on the seat. Step number one is the tilt on the seat. Whenever you're setting up a workstation, I'm giving you 3 rules. You're going to leave here with 3 rules to set up a good workstation wherever you are. Step number one is the chair tilt. That is step number one. Step number 2 is the height of the chair relative to the desk. And what you want to see when step number 2 is right is this elbow angle is just over 90 degrees. So then you get the chair high enough relative to the desk, but that is step number 2. Don't get your chair high enough relative to the desk until you've done step 1. Step 1, get the seat right. Remember the seat, the base of the seat, not the backrest, the base of the seat. Then step number 2 is you get the chair high enough for you, so while you're sitting there comfortable, how do you know if it's high enough? The angle of your elbows is just over 90 degrees. So if this is the angle of the elbow there, you want that, oh, not like that, automatically giving me shapes. You want that to be just over 90 degrees. I do not want it at or under 90 degrees, because then what's going to happen is I'm going to lift my shoulders to try and make that comfortable. There's going to be too much pressure on my hands and on my wrists. So we don't want that one. We want this one, not that one, not that one, at the person's elbows. I know this is getting messy, but you've been following me. So step 1, angle of the seat tilt. Step 2, height of the chair relative to the desk. Step 3, the top of the monitor about in line with the top of your eyes. And you can see how they've put things on a stack there. Now you can use books, you can use cardboard boxes. It doesn't have to be a fancy thing. What also has to happen for step number 3 is that your keyboard and your monitor need to be 2 separate things. You cannot get this right on a laptop, because guess what's happening on a laptop is I'm looking down at my laptop. Now, if that's what you have to sacrifice, that's the thing you sacrifice out of all of these 3. But it doesn't cost you much to get an external keyboard and mouse, a wired one. It doesn't have to be fancy wireless. You can if you want. It's a couple $100 to get a keyboard and mouse. Not a bigger ask, and it'll make a massive difference in your life. Okay, so let's clean this up a little bit for you so we can recap. Step number 1, the tilt of the seat, something under your pointy butt bones to create that pelvic tilt the right way. Step number 2, the chair, the seat is raised or lowered so that the height is so that you can have your elbows at over 90 degrees, just over 90 degrees, not too far over, just over 90 degrees. Okay, and you'll feel, like if you're asking me how much is just over, you'll feel ease at that right position, at that correct position. It's the easiest position. And then step number 3 is the top of your eyes are about in line with the top of the monitor. A little bit of forgiving space there, but the top of your eyes with the top of the monitor. I have this standing workstation set up here so I can see exactly that. This is what's happening for me here in this position. This is a position I wrote most of my book in. So 3 easy steps to set up a great workstation. And you can cobble this together with stuff you have at home, a hand towel, boxes, books. Yeah, doesn't have to be fancy. Sloppy success. So if there's questions that come up, please pop them in the chat box below as we go. I know we're coming up to, it's 1:45, so we've got about 15 minutes left together. So I do want to be able to answer your questions. If you have some questions, please pop them in the chat box and I'll get to them as much as I can. I will get you a way to be able to get in contact with me if you have anything that we don't manage to get to tonight. I want to touch on standing because this plays a massive role in what's happening in our bodies as well. And that same wedge solution that worked under the pointy butt bone can work under your feet as well. If your body's going forward when you're standing, like this poor person over here, and their body's going down and forwards, oftentimes some of the problem can lie here. If your shoes are old and worn out and your heel is starting to drop down below your toes, that's going to rock your body back horribly. You'll be amazed at what happens at your foot and how it affects the rest of your body. And when we adjust people and we adjust that whole body and we get down to the legs and the feet and we adjust them and we correct the things that are out of position, the body can't self-correct, people's bodies prop up beautifully. And in addition to that, one of the things we get people to do is to have a little heel lift. Now this has to be tested because different people need different heights of lift and different people need different heights of lift in different shoes. So it's very specific to you. So we teach our people how to do it for themselves. You do not need a different lift on either side. If you have a higher lift on one side compared to the other side, if you've been to somebody who's given that to you, it might feel better in the short term, but our experience is that that is not a great way to go. That actually makes the problem worse. Yeah, whenever you're using your smart device, try not to use it down and forward. If you see me in the video here, try not to be down and forward. Try to have it up and back. That's the best way to be using it. And you can notice all I've done is tucked my elbows into my body, into my side here, so I can hold it up here. Now it's effortless for me to hold it there. It just gets in the way of the screen now, so I'll drop it down a little bit, but not down and forward. Okay, so yeah, that's what we've got there. Now, I really want to give you some of this powerful data and detail about what's happening under the surface, because here's why this is a problem. This isn't just a pain problem. This is a health problem. Because when we sacrifice what's happening with the alignment of the spine, we affect how this brain and body connect. We affect how these nerves are sending information. It takes less than the weight of a 1-cent coin on a nerve to disrupt the flow of information. Seriously, that's all it takes. Less than the weight of a 1-cent coin to disrupt the flow of information through a nerve. And these nerves affect how your heart works, how your lungs work, how your digestive system works, how your reproductive system works, how your hormones are balanced, how your immune system works. It affects everything. And remember, 90% of this, 90% of what happens in your nervous system, we can't feel. We can only feel 10% of the nervous system. This is part of what's happening. And the other 90% is how it's running your health, how it's running your well-being. Okay. So, are you doing growth and repair versus defense and decay? It's a big question to ask yourself. It's a big question to ask yourself. Are you doing growth and repair, or are you doing defense and decay? Are you going up towards vitality, or are you going down towards dis-ease, dysfunction, disintegration, and then disease? Now, one of the ways to tell is your posture. Now, when I'm talking about posture here, just like we did in our experiment, posture is not how you hold your body up. Posture is not how you hold your body up. Posture is how your body holds you up. So if you can breathe in, breathe out as you're standing and let your body slump and your body stays so that your ear is right above your shoulder, then you have great posture. Then if I had to take an x-ray, which we do a lot of in our practice, we've got our own x-ray facilities and we can take high quality digital x-rays on site and get answers really, really quickly. We have this nice gentle curve in your neck. I'm giving you a crash course in x-rays here, next few minutes. Okay. But if We have forward postures. You see this head going forward on the shoulders now, it's rolling forward. Remember we said, now you're going to start getting tension in the space. Yeah, these compensations, those muscles lighting up. Remember, the muscles aren't the problem. The reason why the body's gone forward is the structure is distorted. There's a misalignment, and what we might call the fancy word is subluxation in there. That drops you forward. These muscles start to work harder. Now you get muscle pain, or you get headaches, or you get back pain, and maybe even gets nerve issues, pinched nerve stuff going. But that's the puddle on the floor. It's not the leak in the roof. If we look under the surface, we see the puddle on the floor. We see we've lost this curve in the neck. We see the curves in the body are altered. The structure and the function of the body is altered. No amount of exercise or stretching is going to bring that back. It needs specialist care. Then you get even worse. Now, they've got an old person here. I'm going to show you x-rays in a second and show you how that's not the case. So there's phase 2. We call this phase 2. Now these bones, you can see these bones here. I'm going to flick backwards a sec. See how there's still space between the bones there? Yeah, flick forward. That space has started to go. Those discs are degenerating. The discs, the cushions, the shock absorbers between the bones have started degenerating, decaying. This is where we get herniated, bulging, slip discs. They don't just slip overnight. It takes years to get to a point where that happens. Then there's phase 3. You can see this getting even worse. Now they've got a really old person here. Unfortunately, it's not age. We see this in lots of people that are not elderly, but you can see there's chronic pain. There's sometimes irreversible damage. It doesn't mean they can't be helped. It just means a portion of what's going on might be irreversible. There's still a lot that can be helped in this stage. So when we see people in the office, we get to grade them. In your neck, are you normal? Grade 1, grade 2, grade 3? Where are you? There's even phase 4 there. In the mid-back, the thoracic spine, where are you? The lumbar spine, where are you? Unless you know this, you don't know what's happening below the surface. Remember, 90% of what happens you cannot feel. We have people who say they feel fine, but they've got this degeneration. And when we question them some more, then there are health issues going on for them. So if we look at this, remember I showed you, I'm going to draw on this, that there's supposed to be a curve going that way on the spine. I'm drawing this with my mouse pad, so you can excuse my drawing on this, but there's supposed to be a curve going that way. Can you see that this person's spine goes the other way? So in the chat box here, I want you to guess, how old do you think that person is? How old would you guess that this person is based on that x-ray, what we just saw? So we said that it's not about age, and this is degeneration, decay happening, okay? So I'm going to clear those so you can see it. So what age? We've got people guessing. We've got 45, 67, somebody says 80, somebody says 70. What would you guess if you had to guess this person's age? I know you've never looked at x-rays before. I'm not going to jump out and shout at you if you don't get this right. But what would you guess this person's age is? What would you guess? Yeah, 30s, 40s. Okay, cool. That's what I would have guessed if I hadn't looked at so many x-rays during my life. We hadn't seen so many. This is a 16-year-old. This person is 16. If you knew x-rays, you'd be able to, there's a sneaky way to tell you can see what's happening with the teeth, with these molars here that haven't come down, these wisdoms that haven't come through yet. This person is 16 and their spine looks like this. And you know what kills me? You know what absolutely kills me is we see this all the time. Young people with bodies that are not doing well. Now, the beautiful thing is she's 16. Her body's still got massive healing potential. We can help a lot of that, and we did help a lot of that. And that made massive difference in her life. Now, whatever age you are, things can be helped. It is never too late. The oldest person I've worked with had 3 letters from the Queen. One when she turned 100, one when she turned 101, one when she turned 102, and she still managed to make improvement. Was there stuff that we couldn't improve? Yes. Was there a lot that we could improve? Absolutely. She got great change through time. One of the things that's affecting us a lot more so I've practiced through my career before smartphones and after smartphones. And before smartphones, we saw damage, but not as much as we're seeing now. Now that we have smartphones and we're all looking down at them so much, we're seeing much more damage, much, much more damage, and it needs to be taken care of. Okay. So here are some examples of how things can change and improve. Some people say this stuff can't improve. Well, I disagree. So here's somebody on the left here. The curve is measured at 0.3 degrees. Now this is a woman, so the curve is supposed to be at least 16 or higher. This is this person over some time. And it didn't happen overnight. It takes months, sometimes years. But now 16 degrees, perfectly healthy spine. Person does really well. Here's another one. straight reversal of this person's spine. A little bit after, a little bit more, this was probably about a year later. Look how beautiful that curve is looking. So this stuff can regenerate. This stuff can change. And these aren't people who are just in different positions. You can't fake this. You can't fake a curve in your neck. So this is proof that this can change. And the way that it can change is if you're able to move away from just this relief pattern of up and down, and you're willing to do some initial care where there might be some fairly intense work that needs to happen to create a stable foundation, and then be able to do this next phase, which is called regenerative care or corrective care, and then some kind of maintenance. Some people choose it, some people don't. Now, the great thing is you don't have to do the whole thing. Some people choose a little, some people choose a lot, but it's a way to go ahead and actually solve and not do the same thing over and over again and expect a different result. Is to move in a different direction, and it is possible and it can be done. So this is literally the method, the technique that we use in our office here in Cape Town, that we teach to other chiropractors. So we can help you to find somebody in your area who can help you if you want to, where this is the same person, and this is literally one day apart. Now, this person is a qualified professional. They're not here to fake anything. This is breathe in, breathe out, let your body slump on the left before. Breathe in, breathe out, let your body slump afterwards. This is one day apart. I kid you not. You can see the floor is the same. You can see the shelves the same. There's even dots on the floor where we marked for the first time, so they stood on the same spot the second time. This is what happens when we do structural correction, when we get to the leak in the roof and not just play around with the puddle on the floor, when we actually get to underlying problems, when we actually take time to deal with them. And this is what can happen in our lives. Wherever you are on that scale on the left, however low that health and well-being might be, if you have wound up your bodies, however distorted it might be, how much pain you might have, there is a chance to move towards the right. There is a chance to feel better. There is a chance to get change. Our bodies are self-healing, self-generating, self-developing. If we can remove the interference by getting that structure aligned, your body can do miraculous things. You do not have to live with pain. It is not normal to live with pain. Might be average, might be common, but it is not normal. You do not have to live with this. You can move towards this. You can move towards feeling more confident in your mind and body. You can move towards having more vitality in your life. You can move towards being more confident and more free in your mind and body. So you can do the things you want to. You can play with your kids. You can go to the gym. You can go for a run. You can get on your bike and cycle if you want to. You can carry the shopping without having to worry about it. You can get down on the floor with the kids. You can carry your kids. You can carry your grandkids. There is a chance. There is a way for you to feel better than you do now. And one of those ways is to not do what you've been doing to get here. Is to try something different, to try something new, to get going in a direction forward. Now, I want to be able to help you to find somebody to be able to help you if you want to do this. So at this, at our URL that I've got on the screen here, and my wife's going to pop that into the chat box below, so you have that in the chat box, is this URL. And it is simple. It's neckandbackpainwebinar.com/apply. And all you do is you fill out that form. It'll come to, the results will come to my personal email address. And I will, if you have a question, put it in there. If you're looking for somebody in your area, put it in there. I will try and direct you to somebody who can help you in your area. If not, if I don't know somebody personally, I will put you onto our Chiropractic Association website and then be able to give you a link from there. But I know I've run a little over time tonight. I'm sorry. I do love to teach. I do love to talk. So any of the questions, I know some people put questions in the chat box. We didn't get to it. I want to honor your time. We're on an hour now. Please take those questions and go to this. It is really simple. It is a simple online form. You're not going to be put into any mailing list. I'm not going to send you lots of information you don't want to. This literally is an email that'll come to my personal email address, and I will answer you. It'll be me. And it's not going to be put into a system where you're going to get repeated stuff. This comes straight to me, and I can answer questions for you because you put the time in here tonight. You've been with us tonight. I'd love to be able to help you. And if you want to then find somebody in your area to take you a step further so we can get some structural correction, that would be gorgeous. Now, it is literally neckandbackpainwebinar.com/apply. Okay, neckandbackpainwebinar.com/apply. Ailey has put that in the chat box. You can see it in your chat box. It's a link you can click. You can just click that link and you can get there. You can ask me anything you want. If you want to find somebody in your area who can help you with the way that I've told you, you can, because not everybody knows how to do this. So I can point you towards some specific professionals who can help you with that. Okay. Now, you've been with us tonight. I told you I was going to give you a free gift, and I am in a second. I also said in some of the emails that there's an unexpected bonus, and this is the unexpected bonus. I'm going to send you this document that summarizes everything we've spoken about tonight. It's called Sit Right to Relieve Tension, something that we wrote, and I'm going to give this to you. In the next day, in your email inbox, you are going to get this guide. You'll be able to click on the link, and this digital book will be there for you. You can see the pictures are there. It's exactly what we've dealt with tonight on the front of creating a good sitting position. So, Sit Right to Relieve Tension, unexpected bonus is coming straight to you. Thank you for being with us tonight. And I promised you a free gift. The free gift is that I would love to send you a free copy of my book. That's right. I've had my book published. I've made back my publishing costs. And now I'm making my book available for free. Literally for free. I want as many people as possible to have a message of lifelong vitality, of health from the inside out, of living a life of intention and purpose so that you can live your bigger life. I want this in the hands of as many people as possible. So I'm literally giving you a copy of my book for free. All you have to do is pay for the shipping. If you're here in the Western Cape, it's only 99 bucks. If you're in the rest of South Africa, it's only 149 bucks. And that is 2-day delivery. I'm not even going to send it by post. I'm not trusting the post office. I'm couriering it from our door to your door. From our door to your door, it goes. Copy of the book is free. All you have to do is cover the shipping. Now, all you have to do is go to this URL. Ellie's going to type it in there as well, is thrivebook.co.za. thrivebook.co.za. If you go there, you'll see that the book is for free. All you have to do is cover the shipping. So that's normally 349 Rand. I'm giving it to you. Thank you for being on with us tonight. 349 bucks worth of value. That's a nice-ish dinner, 2-course dinner, maybe 3-course dinner that I'm giving you. But this is going to be something that can truly transform your life. This book has been fantastic. I'm humbled by the responses that we get from this every day from around the world. So thrivebook.co.za. So Ailey's put that into the chat box. You can see that as well. Please jump on. Please take me up on that offer. I would love to send you a copy of my book, and I'll even sign it for you. The next few days, for people who've been on this webinar, I'll sign a copy of the book for you. Now, I've given you those gifts. Unexpected free gift, and I'm here for you. neckandbackpainwebinar.com/apply. Send a question, send a query, send anything. Send something to me to tell me that you're interested, and then I'll help you to find somebody who can help you. I'll help you to find somebody who can help you, where hopefully you can have a look at x-rays if they're necessary, so you can see what's going on under the surface. You don't have to guess what's going on under the surface. You don't have to just have the surface layer, puddle on the floor type care. We can get to the leak in the roof. And if we get to the leak in the roof, your body heals through the puddle on the floor. We'd love to help you to do that. To be able to do that, I'm not allowed to advertise. I'm not allowed to put up my practice details. That's not what you're here for. So if you want something, if you want to take this further, you ask me and I will help you to take it further. Wherever you are, I will try and find the best person for you to see in your area. If I don't have a specific referral in that area, I will put you onto our association website, and there's a link of all the people there that you could see. So please take me up on the offer. I dare you to take me up on the offer. Number 1, please get a free copy of my book. Number 2, please reach out and ask me a specific question. I will answer your email personally. Okay, great. I know I've been going on and on. I know. Thank you very much for sticking around. It's amazing how many of you are still on with us tonight. I hope I've delivered some value to you tonight. I hope that you know that you can change your workstation. Hope that you know that you can change your mind and body. You can improve. You can move towards growth and repair. You don't have to live in defense and decay. You can move from dis-ease to ease, from dysfunction to function, from disintegration to integration. You can move from disease to vitality. We can move from pain into freedom. It is possible. You are innately intelligent. Your body knows how to heal. All we have to do is find the things that are creating interference to that and free them up. And then your body starts to hold you up, not you hold your body up, and you're on the path towards more life in your years, more years in your life, what we call living your bigger life. So thank you very much for being here. I hope you get that I love doing what I do when I love what I do when I get to do this. I love teaching. I love helping people move towards a better tomorrow. So tomorrow is better than today and better than yesterday. And you've been here the whole way through this presentation to get that. So thank you so much for being here. Thank you for being with me. And thank you for taking action. You've already taken action by being here tonight. Take it a step further. I've given you a couple of options to take it a step further. Take me up on them. I dare you. Have a fantastic time. Thank you so much for being here. Bye-bye.